If you've been using and implementing HubSpot for a while now, there is a high chance that you've already transformed a HubSpot deal pipeline into kind of a project management tool. This is a hack that most of us did already, but HubSpot just released a feature that just killed that hack, and that's for the good. They didn't do that much noise about it, but HubSpot released a new object named project. It's not a feature, it's not a add-on, it's a whole new project with its own pipeline, with its own properties, with its own workflows, and they even implemented a Gantt view. So in this video, I'm going to activate it in a portal, set it up with you, and show you exactly why it's actually a structural shift in how HubSpot is positioning itself. And I will tell you straight up when you should use and when you should not use it and continue working with Asana or Monday, for instance. But before showing you the project object, let's see what used to look like the hack we implemented with the deal pipeline in HubSpot. So I guess most of you did something a bit similar, a deal pipeline that you will name operations, and you will have the different stage of implementation of your service or your product. So for instance, we have kickoff schedule, discovery workshop, configuration and build, data migration, Q&A and client review, and either the project is delivered or the project is cancelled. How did you use it? Basically, you have a sales pipeline, for instance this one, and once the contract is sent and signed, it will automatically create a new deal in this project pipeline that you will be able to follow step by step. There's a lot of issue with that. First of all, a deal pipeline is really polluted with a lot of money properties like the deal amount, the forecast amount, etc., etc. That doesn't make sense in that project management pipeline. The other bad thing is that having a project management pipeline will needs you to create a lot of dedicated custom properties that will be messed with your original deal pipelines. And when it comes to reporting, it will be really annoying to always put the good filters to only show deal pipeline activities and deal project pipeline activities. So it was working, but it was not optimal, and now HubSpot released the project object that will help us separate those two parts of our business, which is the sale and the project management. So to find it, you just need to go to contact and find projects. If you don't see that on your portal, it means it's not activated yet. So what you need to do is to go to data management, data model. You will click on edit data model here, and you will find all your CRM objects here, and here is project. If you don't see it on the sidebar, it means it's not activated here, like services here. So you just need to click on activate object for project, and you will be good to go. And so when it's activated, you can go back to CRM and find your projects here. But before I show you how it looks, let's set it up together. If you go to settings here, data management, objects, and you select project, you will arrive in the project object settings. And here you will be able to set up all the needed properties, all the association labels, and the create project form. But what we want to do first is to create a pipeline. Per default, you will have this pipeline, which try to represent a classic project management, but of course you can create a new one by clicking on create pipeline and create from scratch. For this example, I already create a new pipeline that reproduces exactly what we saw in the deal pipeline that used to play this role. So we can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 stages, and by creating a simple automation, every time a deal is closed won, we can create a project associated to this deal that will start in kickoff scheduled, and by then we will be able to follow the evolution of a specific project. So same as the deal object, you can create pipeline rules, automation, and even tags to make it more visual for your team. And once you're happy about that, you can finally see your project object that will look like it. So you can see that you have dedicated per default properties such as amount paid, amount remaining, priorities, project tags, start date, target due date, target duration, and total cost. So it's really like help you to classify your project and help you manage the whole realization of this project. So you would say, okay, but it's not really visual. It's not really good for me to be able to see which project is at which stage. And that's why we have, like the deal pipeline, the board view. So you might recognize it because it's really the same as the deal pipeline. So once again, when you finish the discovery workshop, you can drag and drop to configuration and build, for instance. So this can be used as a Trello, for instance, but as I mentioned before, you also have the Gantt view, and it really helps us to identify exactly what needs to be done for when, and is based on two properties we mentioned before, the start date and the target due date. So that way you can have a good visualization of which user is working on which project and the amount of time they need to realize the project. So that's new object that HubSpot released is going through the direction of you can use HubSpot for all the management of your activity. It really helps us to simplify the complexity of HubSpot portals we implement, and that feels great to see that we have finally a dedicated object for that huge part of a business, which is the realization of the services. But now, before you go cancel your Asana or Monday subscription, let's be honest and let's see when you should not use a project instead of a dedicated tool. Because project is great for some companies, but it's really bad for others, so let's dig in now. In my opinion, you should use it if your project work is tied to a customer, a deal, or an invoice, or if your delivery is downstream of a sales process. This project object is made for that, so it can be a big improvement in your work processes. But I would recommend you to stay on those Asana or Monday tools if your project works involves heavy collaboration outside the spot, like comments, file, attachment, threads, deep Slack integration. Asana and Monday, they have 10 years plus experience on those workflows, so there's a high chance that projects will actually frustrate you. Also, don't use it if your project work is mostly internal, so engineering sprints, product roadmaps, non-customer ops, because project is mostly built for client-facing delivery, not internal engineering. And most important, if your delivery team is not on HubSpot yet, it might not make sense to make them move to a brand new interface that might be not as complete as what they were using before. In that case, project will simply be a friction that you might not need. So honestly, if you recognize yourself in the beginning of the video that you were using those deal pipelines as a project management tool, that's a perfect use case for you. If not, you might want to think twice because you might not see the immediate need of this feature. So it was a fast presentation of a new feature, but that might help you save a lot of time and reduce the complexity of your portal setup. If you found it useful, don't forget to put a thumbs up to this video. It really helped me to grow as a channel. And if you want to make sure you don't miss every weekly video, you can subscribe to this channel. It was Greg. I wish you a great week and see you next Monday.